Right before I left the studio yesterday, the courier decided to drop this by. What timing? Anyways, this is the JOI Gaming PC X-treme, and this one comes with an Intel Core i5-12400F, which is the variant that comes without the integrated graphics. JOI has been making a lot of laptops, and although I haven't reviewed any of them, I've heard some pretty good things from the community. So when they started to make gaming PCs, of course I have to get my hands on to review it. Is this JOI Gaming PC X-treme a bundle of joy? Get it? Or is it just a bundle of sad? Hey Lynn, bundle of sad can ah? Can. Moving on! For all you box hoarders out there, like me, they actually send the product boxes when you buy the PC. I didn't have space around the studio, so I just left it at the door, okay? Don't judge me, ah. Full disclaimer, JOI did send this PC over for a review, but as usual, we do reserve our right to an unbiased opinion. However, they did tell me that the PC that you will buy will be something like this, though the parts will be subject to availability because there's still some shortage on PC components. So let's get on to the review. Before we get into the price and specs, let's first start off by investigating the build quality and cable management. And we're gonna kick things off with some very, very tasteful pew porn. Hi. Again. Such joy. Firstly, let's take a look at the front first. This is a Razer Tomahawk case, so it comes with a magnetic door that you have to... so canggih. So, as you can see, the cables are everything quite well organized and cable managed. The air cooler radiator is at the top, which is the optimum position for it because you need the pump to be at a lower position than the radiator. So if there's any air that's trapped inside, it goes up there and won't get stuck in the pump here and then very noisy. So that's a good job. They have two intakes at the front here. Let me just open it up so you can see what fans are they. So there are a couple of Arctics, which in my opinion are some of the better good quality fans on the market that doesn't have RGB, outside of, well, Noctua as well, but they are much cheaper, so that is good and economical. Two intakes here, one exhaust here. What we have here is a 3070 Ti Aorus Master, which is quite pricey for a card in this build, and it comes with the i5-12400F like I mentioned just now before inside, with 2 sticks of RAM. So the RAM are 2 modules of DDR5 from Team Delta. These are 6000 MHz rated RAM, so that's great, very fast with RGB as well. Let's see how it looks like later when we plug in. Again, the cable is very, very neat. You have the 24 pin here plugged properly, and you have the CPU plugs right here, which is great. On this Aorus Z690 Elite motherboard, which looks great as well. Overall, seems like a pretty well-built PC on this side. Now, this Razer Tomahawk case also comes with this openable side panel for the bottom compartment. They are using a Corsair RM750, which is a very reliable power supply. I like this very much. It's an 80 plus gold rated, if I'm not mistaken. Here would be where the screws and all come from, but I think they put it in the motherboard box. I think later we'll just check it out. Other than that, everything looks cool. I like this case, very nice. The front is also tool-free. You have thumb screws here that can release the front for you to swap out the fans if you ever want to change your fans and not have to remove the GPU, so that's great. Only drawback would probably be that they don't come with any fans except for the exhaust, but JOI has added 2 intakes here, so that's great. They could very well give you options to change the RGB fans as well. Let's take a look at the behind. So this is the belakang. As you can see, there's actually instructions manual here. They say to detach the glass door before you remove the film, which I forgot to read, or I refused to read manual, so that's what happened to me when I smacked myself in the face. Okay, let's do it again. This time, properly. That's right. And then hold it like that and go. Let's take a look at the behind. Again, this case is very awesome. They come with all these shields that are thumb screwable in case your cable management noob and you need to push all your cables down or else your back door cannot close. So as you can see, wow, neat wow. Don't joke. I thought I'm gonna trash them for the cable management. Ooh, that's my fault. Don't blame them. Wow, neat wow. You can see you have your 24 pin come here. This is your CPU cable, power cables go up there. This is some sort of fan controller, I guess. I don't know what it is. And then you have your fans obviously going up there. Probably the fan controller from that Cooler Master lah, probably. And then you have your PCIe cables, I would assume these are, and there's the front I/O panels. I mean, they tie until like that, I can't really see, but I just make an educated guess lah. Now let's take a closer look at the specs. JOI asked me for my feedback on this PC combination to see how they can potentially improve the compatibility of the components to avoid any bottleneck and also to give you guys better value for your money. Feel free to check out the links in the description if you're interested in picking up a JOI Gaming PC X-treme for yourself. The CPU here is of course that Intel Core i5-12400F that doesn't come with the integrated graphics. It comes with 6 cores and 12 threads and a max boost clock of 4.4 GHz. Unlike some of the other 12th gen processors that we reviewed earlier, this one only comes with performance cores, P cores and no E cores or efficient cores. I'm curious to see how it actually performs in gaming. For the GPU, again we have that RTX3070 Ti Aorus Master. I feel that you could lower it by maybe 1 tier or 1.5 tier to an RTX 3070 or 3060 Ti and even 3060 to keep the cost under 8,000 ringgit. However, let's take a closer look at the benchmarks to see what kind of gaming performance we can expect from this and the i5 combo. Other than that, all the parts seem reasonable. The 32GB of RAM is kinda a default for DDR5 now, so there's that. Although I definitely appreciate that 6000 MHz speed. Also, I like that Razer Tomahawk case because of how easy it is to access, build, and cable manage with. That Cooler Master ML240 240mm AIO cooler is also more than enough to cool that i5, and that Corsair RM750 80 Plus Go PSU should be fine to comfortably accommodate even an RTX 3080, so that's all good. The JOI Gaming PC X-treme in this particular combination is priced at 9,597 ringgit. The only thing that I need to note is that the Z690 Aorus Elite motherboard does not come with Wi-Fi, so you'll need to pick up a USB or PCIe Wi-Fi adapter if you need it, links in the description. By the way, JOI also has different bundles for this processor with a B660 motherboard and DDR4 RAM, which will bring the cost down even more. Without a GPU, they actually start at only 2,699 ringgit. Feel free to go that route if you're on a budget, or stick to this if you want more future-proofing with DDR5. So before we boot up this PC, I just want to have a PSA for you guys in case you're a noob like my intern, okay? So at the back of the I/O of the motherboard, you will see a HDMI and display port right here, okay? And because this is an F variant of the i5 processor, the i5-12400F with the F there, it doesn't have integrated graphics. So if you're a noob like my intern and try to plug in your HDMI port here, then you'll be like, huh? Why no display one? Is this PC kantoi? No, it's not. You kantoi, because you noob, okay? So you need to use these ports down here from your GPU, okay? This processor needs a discrete GPU, okay? Discrete means discrete lah. I don't know how discrete this is. It's massive. The moment of truth. Cool, huh? Wow, nice, eh? But Riza, if you're gonna give me RGB strip, right, you might as well give me RGB fans. At least I can blow and cool down my parts. This also don't know. Let's move on to the numbers, and firstly we have synthetic benchmarks. This i5-12400F will almost go neck in neck in terms of multi-threaded performance with the Ryzen 5 5600X. But that single-threaded score is very high for its price. In fact, it might be even slightly faster than a Ryzen 9 5950X, making it very good value for money for a gaming rig. TimeSpy and Firestrike shows us how well this PC is going to be in terms of rasterization performance for the X11 and the X12. That RTX3070 Ti also doesn't seem to be bottlenecked by that i5, which is great news. Next, we have gaming benchmarks, and if you're into AAA titles, this PC can comfortably run games like Shadow of Tomb Raider, Death Stranding, and even a newer game like Horizon Zero Dawn up to 4K in max settings with no issues. Of course, Cyberpunk 2077 is being a difficult child as usual. However, if you want more than 100 frames per second, then just stick to 1440p. For faster paced and more FPS optimized games like Doom Eternal, just get the fastest monitor you can afford. Maybe that new BenQ EX3210U 4K 144Hz monitor that we reviewed earlier? And just in case you're wondering, this PC will eat any competitive title like Valorant for breakfast, even if you have a 360Hz refresh rate 4K monitor from 2069. I also wanted to test ray tracing with DLSS because that's how you can fully enjoy the gaming experience from that RTX3070 Ti. In games like Shadow of Tomb Raider, you can definitely go up to 4K with ray tracing and DLSS on performance. However, in newer titles or more difficult games like Cyberpunk, you'll probably have to stick to 1440p, which is still great. Finally, we have the productivity benchmarks. In terms of productivity tasks, in all of our Puget Bench tests, this PC performs pretty well, especially if you're running anything GPU accelerated thanks to that 3070 Ti. For 3D in V-Ray and Blender, it also did pretty well. However, as this i5-12400F is more a single core, a more gaming-oriented focused CPU, if you want a better content creation experience, I would upgrade that CPU to something like an i7 or Ryzen 7 and drop that 3070 Ti to maybe like a 3060 Ti instead. Of course, we also tested the thermals and power consumption of this entire gaming PC. Running AIDA64 to stress test the CPU and GPU for more than 15 minutes, as you can see, the CPU never went above 74 Celsius. You can expect about 60 to 65 Celsius-ish while gaming. The GPU also only hit 66 degrees, and this proves that JOI's decision to add those two additional intake fans was an excellent choice. Looking at power consumption, that i5-12400F is actually pretty power efficient, hitting only 76 Watt on a full multi-threaded load. The entire system maxed out at 431 watts, which is pretty okay, and since we are underloading that PSU, it should be able to run pretty quiet. To recap, here are the pros, and cons of the JOI Gaming PC X-treme 12i5F. I give this JOI Gaming PC X-treme 12i5F a pretty solid start, #cheap buy 8 out of 10. Now, I can definitely tell from the cable management and build quality that the team at JOI is definitely putting in a lot of effort before sending a gaming PC out to a customer. Let's see if they actually listen to my feedback and make the necessary adjustments to the bundle. Check out the links in the description if you're interested to pick one up for yourself. If they do, then they'll get an 8.5. Overall, powered by an i5-12400F and an RTX3070 Ti, this is a very powerful gaming PC that you can game at max settings with high refresh rates in 1440p. You can even go 4K if you lower some of your settings and prioritize your FPS a little bit more. Also, JOI is giving us all quality components from the case to PSU to cooler, where some dealers might cut costs on. Though some of you might prefer all those components to be from the same brand, so there's that. I personally don't care. I also like how they put in a couple of some of my favorite fans on the market right now in terms of value for money, which are the Arctic P12 PWM fans, also links in the description. Sure, they're not Noctua, but for the price, they give you very good airflow with not much noise. And that's everything I have to say about the JOI Gaming PC X-treme 12 i5F. If you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like and share, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to see more content like this. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. Again, my name is Shane. Leave a comment below so I can reply to you and we can chit chat some more, and I will see you in the next one. For today's comment section, we have the Asus VivoBook Pro 16X OLED review, and firstly, we're going to start with YouTube. Firstly, we have a troll called Sun Yu Liao that says, who do heavy works on a laptop and not on a desktop PC? Apparently, a lot of people who actually get to travel while they work. Stephen asked that he just got a 32GB RAM variant, so he's a bit confused. Now this model, the 16GB one, is only for Malaysia. If you're in other parts of the country, maybe you get 32GB lah. Or maybe they changed it after I made this video, so that could be that also. Tommy Side says that he's an American artist living in South Africa, and he came by this video. He thinks that I'm quite funny and not over the top, but also get down to the facts. God bless me. Thanks so much, bro. Thanks for subscribing as well. We're trying to make more content like this to make you guys benefit from whatever analysis I can have about all these tech products. Shorai asked me, single channel soldered RAM, how much more would it cost to make this dual channel for Asus? Apparently double the cost if you check out our Pro Art Studio Book review on the laptop, which is 12,000 ringgit. That one doesn't come with soldered RAM. Now let's move on to the I Give You Facebook. Firstly, we have Dudeness Dave that say this laptop good for creating content for his OnlyFans or not. You need to make that money. You need to let it wiggle or jiggle for show. John Royal Francisco said this boy is really a fan of AMD. Not really. To be fair, I'm a fan of whoever can give me good hardware for a reasonable price. If Intel send me some more laptops, I will review that also lah. Who send what? I review one lah. Mohammad Safian says this laptop's priced like that because of the screen. With that price, can get higher specs, 3070 USB-C, USB Gen 3, and also upgrade USB Gen 3. What is USB Gen 3? Well, sometimes people like you that come to comment you say half correct, half wrong. Very confusing And that's all folks, my name is Shane, I'll see you in the next one.